Hi, I'm Paul Spiewak with the Lake County Lake Lovers. I'm on Countryside Lake here in Mundelein, Illinois. Countryside Lake is just 100 years old. I think it's 99 years this year. We're going to celebrate our 100th anniversary next year. The lake was formed by Samuel Insull. He was Thomas Edison's right-hand man and started Commonwealth Edison. This was his private lake for hunting and fishing way back 100 years ago. Anyway, now it's all developed, and our lake's about 140 acres, average depth about 5.5 feet, maximum depth about 9.5 feet. We suffer, like most of the shallow lakes in Lake County, from the same kind of things. Phosphorus pollution and sediment pollution. Those are our two main enemies. We also have some invasive species. We have curly-leaf pondweed like a lot of other lakes, but we treated with Galleon herbicide early this year in March and April, and that really took care of it. We're really happy with the outcome of that. Let's see, so let me tell you a little bit more about the lake. It was formed 100 years ago when Samuel Insull dammed up the inlet, which is over this way, way over that way. Indian Creek flowed, just a little creek flowing through this whole area. So he dredged it out a little bit, dug it down a little bit, but mostly just dammed it up, way, way over there. And that's there's a dam over there, and that's where the outflow is. We've got this nice little marina here, and over here we have a beach. I think you saw that earlier when you were looking towards the inlet. It's a private lake, and good fishing. So I joined the Lake Lovers because I saw this group that looked like it was gonna make improvements to the lake. We could collaborate between lakes, we could learn from each other, and those are important things. Also, we had this wonderful donation from Xylem with these research grade instrumentation that we could measure the quality of our water. We love the work that Lake County Health Department's doing for us, but they just don't have the capacity, and so now we can expand that with this wonderful equipment we've got from Xylem, and we can measure things like dissolved oxygen profiles and temperature profiles and these other things that are going to tell us the health of our lake. Let's see, what else am I forgetting here?
So you've been monitoring since, April, let's say. How has the data that you've been collecting been influencing conversation with your lake management team?
Right, well, a couple of ways. One of the most important ones, I think, is even though we're measuring the phosphorus on our inlet, we're measuring it at 3 locations: the inlet, the outlet, and right in the middle of the lake. And we're not even detecting it at the middle of the lake or the outlet, but we are seeing some phosphorus at the inlet. That's telling us we've got some from upstream coming in, and we're trying to figure out what to do about that. Meanwhile, we did do a treatment to bind up some of the phosphorus in the water column just recently, a few weeks back. And
what was that product?
That is Utrizorb WC. The WC stands for water column. And it's a great product, it's a proven product, but it's expensive, and it takes a lot of it to bind up all the phosphorus that's in the water column. We also need to, there's a lot of phosphorus that's built up in the lake bottom sediment over the last 100 years. We've never dredged our lake, never significantly dredged our lake, I should say. And that phosphorus gets released through a complicated process in the middle of the summer, and that leads to an algae bloom. There's a way to bond that phosphorus, and that's also an expensive process, but we're looking into that, and I hope that we'll be able to achieve that funding for that in the next year or several years, probably be spread over a few years.
Right. I think you guys are also doing some mowing of aquatic plants, right?
Yeah, we're using a harvester also. That gives like a haircut to the aquatic vegetation that's growing up to prevent our propellers from getting stuck in the weeds, I guess, the weeds, and that also removes that material and prevents it from degrading and consuming oxygen at the bottom, which leads to a whole cascade of problems. The fish need oxygen, right, and we don't want that being consumed by decaying vegetation.
Right. And I see you're standing next to a buffer strip. Any comments about that?
Right, yeah. The buffer strip's a really good thing that anyone who's a shoreline owner anywhere in the county, a buffer strip's really useful. If you have your lawn growing right up to the water's edge, which is pretty common, this little bit of buffer strip, even just this little bit here, just 5 or 10 feet, is helpful. Ideally, in Wisconsin, for example, they call for 35 feet of buffer strip. That might not be appealing to some. It has kind of a natural look, and the native vegetation is the best thing. They have these really deep roots, like up to 15 feet deep. They really hold the shoreline good, and they'll survive drought and things like that.
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of a shoreline buffer strip.
So Paul, as we wrap up, what would be your words to someone thinking about joining lake lovers?
Oh, I think join us. If you want to, instead of just being a complainer, try to do something about it like we are. We're not experts. We've got a great team. We've got some really great skill set, but together as a team, we're really making a difference, and we're sharing ideas, we're collaborating, and I think you should join us.